Okay, we're set.
Okay. I think I heard you. Yeah, I think there's volume on the TV. Okay, yes, there is. All right, we will call this public hearing uh, meeting to order on Monday, March 15th, 2021. Ms. Sensky, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Roskovich,
Here.
Mr. Spielman,
Here.
Mrs. Foglio,
Here.
Mr. Crawford,
Here.
Ms. Young,
Here.
Ms. Harris,
Here.
Ms. Haynes,
Here.
Mr. Timonier,
Here.
and we have Corey Nagel with Fat Sally's Warehouse as a visitor. The
Good afternoon, everyone.
Well, good afternoon. Yeah, we are meeting the requirements of the Sunshine Law by having our Zoom meeting this evening. This evening, we are here to have a public hearing regarding the request to rezone some property on Laird Avenue from residential 4 to commercial 1 for future business expansion at Fat Sally's Warehouse. And Mr. Nagel, Mr. and Mrs. Nagel are the ones making this request to rezone. And the rezoning will make this a permanent change as opposed to, like a conditional use thing. So from what I understand, if Mr. and Mr. Nagel ever do sell the business or move, whatever the case may be, the property is rezoned. It will be rezoned, right?
Mr. President, so yeah, if you guys decide to allow the rezoning to happen,
Yeah.
These particular parcels, I believe there's 5 of them,
Yeah.
would remain C1 going forward. Right now, Fat Sally's is operating under a conditional use, which is kind of ironic because that used to be, retail and commercial in that area anyways. But it was changed the zoning was changed at some point to residential. But this stretch, obviously with the amount of business they're doing there and plans for future expansion, in our opinion, staff opinion, it does make sense to rezone this area. Not to mention it is contiguous to other commercial properties around it.
Right. Okay. And I was just pointing because recently we have had several conditional use permits where we would rezone, but it just goes with the property. And then when that use is changed, then we have another say in the matter. This, however, will not be that way. This will be a permanent rezoning to commercial 1. We are talking about the properties 68407. Those are the lead numbers for all the properties, and the last are 16300, 16600, 16701, 16800, and 16900. So those are the 5 properties that we are rezoning. I believe Ms. Sensky sent everybody a map. And so where Mr. and Mrs. Nagel have their Fat Sally's Warehouse, I believe there's 1 property to the west that will be rezoned, and then 4 to the east that will be rezoned. Is that correct, Mr. Nagel?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Thank you all for having us this evening. But you are correct.
Okay. And that includes the old church, Mr. Nagel. We're rezoning that also? Or is that already zoned? Right?
No, sir. That will be part of this rezoning as well. That is a piece of property that we acquired in September, along with a lot that was in the field. There was kind of a straggler lot that we hadn't acquired yet, but we were able to acquire both of those in September, October of last year, 2020.
Okay. So yeah, just making sure everybody knows where we're at. And I think everybody here on council does, because we, like I said, we received the map. Anyone out in the public may be having questions. But as Mr. Timoneer says, these properties are contiguous to already commercial properties on Laird Drive. To the south is the Save-A-Lot store and the Save-A-Lot parking lot, right? And,
yes, sir.
yeah. So you're already in. To the west would be there's, I think, one house, but then there'd be Lake Avenue and all the businesses there, Lakeway and the other businesses that are on Lake Avenue. Okay.
All of the other houses are on 8th. In other words, from our property up to Lake is pretty much open. Right. There are no houses that face Laird at that point. They're all facing 8th.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. All right. So at usually at this time, anything else you want to say, Mr. Nagel? If you want to explain, I don't know, where you're at in your plans, but if you want to explain what you're doing, you're welcome to. If you don't, that's fine.
Yes.
You're making the request, and that's what we're here to deal with. So.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. Again, I just want to thank everybody for hearing what we have to say this evening. Save-A-Lot, as Mr. President had mentioned, is directly across the street from us, and we feel as though that is a commercial area. The church, which we acquired in September of last year, we found out originally it was a Finnish general store. It was a co-op. We were able to actually get some pictures from a customer that it was her great grandfather's store. He was involved with it. So from those pictures, we will be able to recreate that building into a general store. This is part of our expansion that we would like to do. Also, the adding on to the building presently. Our building originally had a side on it that had collapsed. So there was a side there, and there's some concrete there that we're going to build off of. So we're not really going to be adding anything that wasn't there originally. The addition obviously will be better than what was there before. It was not the greatest addition to that building, but ours will be a single floor, and then the general store is the church. So we'll add the awnings that were there originally from the pictures. So we're going to be able to recreate that. And also we've got some plans for our flow for our parking lot, that when we were able to acquire the church and the other parcel, we'll be able to bring people in off of Laird, and then they'll exit onto 8th. So our traffic flow will be a lot less congested. So in other words, as people come in, we're going to have them enter the building from the side, as they do right now. They enter from the front. So they'll enter from the side of Fat Sally's, and they'll be parking kind of in behind there, and then they'll exit onto 8th. So that will alleviate some traffic congestion. I don't know if anybody else has any questions. I know quite a few people from council has been in, to our store, and we definitely appreciate that. But I think it'll go well with the neighborhood. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Are they going to exit on the 8th, on the 9th? From
what we've encountered, there's a lot of people coming from different towns that it'll be it's 9th. Excuse me. You're right. That would be 9th.
Yeah.
As you come down Laird, 9th breaks off to the left. It bears off to the left. So you're right. That would be 9th, not 8th. Sorry. Okay. So that would help the congestion there as far as the traffic. But what I was going to say is we're seeing a lot of people come in from out of town, and we feel like the expansion will actually help that in immensely.
Mr. President, just a note for council, when you're considering rezoning, I know that most of us have seen Mr. and Mrs. Nagel's plans for the property. We think they're tremendous. However, when you're considering zoning, please remember that the decision needs to be based on whether or not you feel changing these properties to commercial is harmonious with the area, regardless of what type of project would be going on to it. And again, staff recommendation is that it is acceptable and it would be harmonious to the neighborhood, considering the retail, the commercial and retail that's already there.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. So anyone on council have questions or comments? No? Ms. Sensky, do we have any, because this was advertised in the paper for 30 days, was it? Or no, how many days? 30 days. And so in that time, have we had any public communications or comments?
I've got one email from, actually it's from Mary Church, that Ron Keister stopped in her office Monday, March 1st and expressed his support for the zoning change requested for Laird Drive that we're hearing about tonight. And that's all I have.
Okay. So nothing else, no community members or anything have weighed in on this. So, okay. So anybody else from the city council or the public? Okay.
John, I got something real fast.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So yeah, I think it's just exciting that over the course of the past year, that even at the, coming out of what's been going on, it's exciting that somebody wants to build and expand their business. So, and that's got really nothing to do with the zoning, but it's exciting that they're doing well. And I mean, I think that maybe that's encouraging for the whole city, that maybe Corey is the first step to a building wave. If he's going to take the chance, maybe he'll prove that people ought to take a little risk and build in this town too, even if we're coming off a weird year. So kudos to you, Corey.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Mr. Vice President. We feel as though that there's going to be a wave of spending. I think most folks right now are a little pent up, needless to say, but our philosophy or our idea right now is to try to get ahead of that. I feel as though that as the vaccinations come out, people kind of gotten used to wearing masks. They've gotten used to, staying apart with one another. We feel as though that over the next year, you're going to see people spending money like you've never seen before. And we want to get ahead of that. And we feel as though that within the next year, you're just going to see people they just want to get out. And our expansion, I know it's kind of jumping off the cliff like a leap of faith, but I really feel like there's a lot of people that come to Ashtabula that folks don't understand. They come here and they're like, wow, this is a cool little town. We're blocks away from Bridge Street. We're just miles away from Genevon Lake, and you have the wineries and everything else that goes with it. And I just think that you're going to see next year, this coming year, people they're just wanting to get out, even if they just go out for a half a day. And we feel as though that we can, with this addition, we can draw in people. Our whole idea of it originally was to draw people to Ashtabula. That was our intention. We want to get people here to spend money, to get new money into our economy. So I know Fat Sally's is a draw right now, but with this expansion that we have planned, and as Mr. Timoneer had mentioned, our expansion is a leap of faith, and I really think it's going to go over well.
Mr. President.
Yes.
I have to say I'm so proud of Corey and Amy. They've just put their whole heart, soul, and pocketbook into Fat Sally's, and I remember when they opened it, we had a discussion about their plans for the store, and they've worked so hard themselves. They don't really, when they do something, Corey and Amy do it themselves. They put themselves into it, and I can see now, after all these years that their dream is coming true and that they're expanding. And I'm just so happy and excited for them because they really believe in this town and in this area. And I'm just so excited for them. Good luck, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Anybody else? I will just say I've only been in your store one time, Mr. Nagel, but the one time I was in there, I believe there were two women were asking Mrs. Nagel, are there any restaurants in the area to eat? I thought, boy, that's, I was happy to hear that. And obviously Mrs. Nagel shared with them all the many ones that are in the area where they could go. So I appreciate what you're saying about, bringing people to town and stuff. So that's good. And Mr. Spielman, I agree. I think we're going to see some activity this spring, hopefully in summer and maybe more stuff going on. Anybody else have any questions or comments? All right. So, no. Okay. So at this time, we cannot vote in a public hearing. But what we will do is, I believe it's on our agenda for this evening, that this will come up for a vote and we will approve it at that time. This doesn't go to Planning Commission, does it, Mr. Timonier? Or we've already done that?
Mr. President, it's already gone to Planning Commission and their recommendation was to pass it along to you for passage.
Right. Okay. Now I remember. That's right. So we did that last. All right. So Mr. Nagel, if you continue to watch this evening, this will be voted on later on tonight after the 7 o'clock hour. So, okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate it. And thank you everyone on council. My wife thinks she's going to poke her head in here. We just really appreciate everybody.
Thank you.
And all of your support.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So at this time, we will adjourn this public hearing. Seeing no other activities. What was that? Oh, okay. What did I miss something? Okay, we're just going to adjourn the public hearing and then we will reconvene in 12 minutes. Ms. Sensky, will we go quiet? I think Mr. Timonier went to mute us. Is that what's happening?
He has it going through Spectrum this time.
Yeah, Mr. President, I'll have everything muted in just a second if you're done. Yep.
So we'll get back on in 12 minutes.
Okay, you're all set.
All right, thank you. We are calling the pre-council meeting for the City of Ashtabula City Council on Monday, March 15th, 2021. We will call this meeting to order. We'll call the roll again. We just had a special meeting, but we'll call the roll again. Ms. Sensky?
Mr. Roskovich,
Here.
Mr. Spielman,
Here.
Mrs. Foglio,
Here.
Mr. Crawford,
Here.
Ms. Young,
Here.
Ms. Harris,
Here.
Ms. Haynes,
I'm here.
Mr. Timonier,
Here.
Mr. Franklin,
Here.
and Ms. Welch.
Here.
Tracy, Ms. Welch, welcome to you. We have a very light agenda tonight, only a couple items to vote on. So, but there were a couple items that were put on the agenda for discussion. Maybe we'll move them to our pre-council meeting, and we could have that discussion about those when we have time. I only see two legislative items. We will have the rezoning request, and we have, what was the other one? Some obsolete items, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much it, unless Mr. Timonier is going to add something extra tonight. So let's go through our list, and then there's a couple of things we could talk about that were put on the agenda for discussion, but we could discuss them at this time because there'd be no action on them. Mr. Manager, do you have other information for us tonight?
I do. Thank you, Mr. President. So first ordinance I would ask for is that rezoning on Laird Drive that you heard about just a couple minutes ago in the public hearing. That's a rezoning of 5 parcels of land on Laird Drive between West 8th and West 9th from R4 residential to C1 commercial. The second, believe it or not, it's already time to bid out next year's road salt purchase. So I'd like an ordinance to enter into an agreement with ODOT for the purpose of participating in their road salt bid for the 2021-22 year. If you recall, the way this works is we tell them how much salt we anticipate purchasing. They combine all the cities together, they go out to bid. So unfortunately, we don't know what the price is going to be until those bids come back in. But again, it's on a statewide purchasing. So typically we get some of the best pricing. I'm curious to know what happens because here again, we had somewhat of a light year. I think we, believe it or not, still have 500 tons to purchase as part of our last contract. So I'm curious to see how this price fluctuates. I do anticipate a little bit of an increase. Last year. Not only was the price very good, less than half of what we paid the prior year, but then again, with less salt usage, we kind of expect the price to go up a little bit, but we'll see how those bids come in. The next is an ordinance to enter into an agreement with Grease Audio and Visual as the most responsible bid for the Police Department Operations Command Center system upgrades in an amount not to exceed $35,666.77. This funding is actually coming out of the Law Enforcement Trust Fund. So thank you, Mike, and the police department for providing for that. Basically what they're doing, it's going to be a special operations and conference room, primarily used for our narcotics investigations. We'll be able to monitor and do surveillance of drug houses as well as other criminal activity, monitor some of our drone feeds, preparing and planning for the operations, be able to watch and do the interrogations and interviews. They can do Skype, Zoom, Teams meetings out of there as well with other departments. And there will be a capability of having a direct link to the EMA in case that's ever needed in the future. So it's a big upgrade to the room for some of the operations that we're doing. Again, it's not coming out of our PI, but coming out of the Law Enforcement Trust Fund because of the uses that we're doing with it. And lastly, I know we've discussed this in the Public Works Committee, but we've got to get moving on some things here. An ordinance to enter into an agreement with GPD for the purpose of providing design, construction administration, as well as bid documents for the water pollution bar rake that is currently inoperable in the amount not to exceed $37,500. That'll come out of the Water Pollution Capital Fund. Right now, the engineer's estimate is around $300,000 for replacement of the equipment. To repair it was over $100,000, and that a piece of equipment is 30 years old. So I'm not going to put $100,000 into repairing something that's 30 years old. We can get new equipment. It's more efficient equipment, more effective equipment. But we need to get, it's about a 12 to 16 week build from the time we order it. So we need to get this out onto the street for construction and design engineering. And then once those bids come back in, we'll be able to get it installed. Probably going to do this in two separate ways, like we did the boilers. We'll probably purchase the equipment outright and then find a contractor to install it. That way we can go directly with the manufacturer, work with them on its build and its delivery to us, and then just have hopefully a local construction firm install it for us. So probably be two bids when it comes to that. Lastly, I would need an executive session to discuss the purchase of property, and we can do that at the end of the meeting. I won't need any action out of that tonight. Mr. President, that's all I have for now.
All right, thank you.
John, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Jim, and partially trying to be a wise guy and partially not, since the wastewater treatment plant, we're monitoring COVID and all that stuff through. Can you use any CARES money to fix that stuff?
That question has actually come up. So we're monitoring this next round of funding that's supposed to be coming to us. We've received a preliminary, here's what we think the cities are going to get. The guidance right now is not very extensive. My fear is that because this is an enterprise fund, we're not going to be able to use those funds towards it. I can tell you with the amount that we're getting, we have some really big needs elsewhere in the city that probably come first. And I only say that because there is money down at Water Pollution in the capital fund to at least do this project. The way that we're looking at doing some different loans and things like that for the plant evaluation and some of the other things coming up, which I'll have for our next Public Works meeting, and hopefully then for you guys to pass after that. We should be okay, but we're probably a year away from making any significant repairs after we get those studies in. And then we're going to have to look at whole different funding models from there. But if there is the ability to do so, we'll try to take advantage of it. But there again, like I said, with the funds we have coming in and the needs that we have to address that we've been putting off, and of course, specifically for things related to COVID and to do some good in the community with, I don't know if we'll get to that end of the spectrum at the plant or not.
Okay, thanks.
And again, if it's allowable, we're still waiting on the guidance to come through.
Good question. Good idea. So, anybody else have any questions or comments for the manager? Okay.
Mr. President, just a couple of reminders too. I did send to you guys both all of you guys the lakefront rezoning for your to look at and give me feedback on, or tell me to go ahead or not. I would, if possible, we would have a planning commission meeting on Thursday. So far, I've heard back from most of them that they're available. The first step in that is sending it to them to review really quickly and then give a recommendation to you. Ultimately, council, just like you're doing for Pat Sally's, it'd be that same process. It sits for 30 days. The residents that would be affected by this are notified via mail in time for input. I would love to figure out a way to do actually, a community type meeting, but I don't know electronically how we could do that. So it's up to you guys whether you want to keep pushing that out until there's a time we can all get together or move forward with it. But there will be plenty of notification and ways for people to contact you or me regarding the changes. The second piece was we decided that we needed some better clarity on new construction versus an addition. So we sent you the language for that. That does not need public input and all that fun stuff. That can just be put through. It's an addition to a chapter. And then also Mr. Franklin and Ms. Welsh and I worked today on one of the nagging sewer issues that's still going on. And we sent you guys all the information on that as well.
I appreciate the legislation on the waterfront. I think myself, I'm ready to go when you are. I know Miss Foglio had a question about community input, and that seems to be built into this process. Miss Foglio, is that fine with you, do you think, or?
Yes, I just want to make sure that the residents on the lakefront side are aware of what's going on and have time to input into the situation. I mean, I don't want them to be blindsided, by what's happening.
And 30 days is a minimum. You can do it as far out from the 30 days as you would like.
And may I ask, what type of a letter will they receive? I mean, will they just receive notification that, will they receive just a form type letter that something's going to change, or are they going to know exactly what's going to change?
So what traditionally happens is they would be sent the notification of the change, and then because we're changing the language and developing a brand new zoning area, my suggestion would be to send them that language that we're proposing.
Very good. Yes, I'd like them to have that language and to let them know exactly what they can and cannot do, or what they will be able to do. Yes, I'm okay with that as long as they're notified. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I think that's a good point, Mrs. Foglio. Mr. Timoner, my only question is, what if somebody says, oh, they're going to be doing this, I'm going to build my construction, get it in before that happens. You know what I'm saying? I hope that's not an issue. But
unfortunately, that's always a possibility.
Is that a possibility? Yeah.
I don't know if we can somehow do a moratorium on construction. I doubt it, but
yeah.
So I guess, although you don't want to rush it through, but yes, I understand what you're saying, and hopefully we wouldn't have that happen to us again. Obviously there's a reason that we've developed this language and are doing the things. However, as I stated, the ordinance that was created, or the language that was created that specifies an addition versus new construction, that would help curb a lot of that as well.
Okay.
So that would be important to, I don't know if you guys want to talk about it again at the next meeting, or actually have the legislation ready to vote on. But maybe digest that between now and then, and see how you want to proceed with it.
Okay. So we could do one without a hearing. Maybe if council wants to read that part, maybe we can get back to that at our first April meeting. And then in the time we'll be doing the other things, setting up those public hearings and such.
Would you like me to proceed with the Planning Commission meeting Thursday and reviewing the lakefront zoning?
I think so. What about, any counselors have strong feelings about this, or any feelings?
I think you should.
Yes, Jim, I think that's a good idea. Just keep moving with that with the Planning Commission.
Okay. And I don't know if they'll be able to make a decision. I'm going to send it to them first thing tomorrow morning. So hopefully they'll have enough time to digest it. I'll give them the background on it. They may want another meeting to think about it. So it could give you a little bit more time too. Okay. Thank you.
Good.
Mr. President,
yes.
I have two questions for Jim. Is the City Health Department going to speak tonight?
No, they'll be at the next meeting.
And I know all the schools will be back in session April 6th in Ashtabula County. What are the guidelines for city council meetings? Should we or could we go back to meeting in person?
So there again, there was never guidance that said you couldn't. That was, we were kind of exempt from everything. However, I think everybody felt better doing it this way for the time being. Yes, the numbers are getting better. Yes, I think with the precautions we have in place in the council chambers with the dividers and things like that, you could start meeting again in person. You can still limit or not allow public in, because we can still stream it and do everything like that if you choose to do so. Or you can just open things back up and we distance everything out. If council is considering or would like to go back to in-person meetings, I just ask you give us enough time because we do set that room up for our COVID vaccines. We would just need to move some things around just to make sure we have it set for the night. We don't do any sessions late at night. Usually 1 o'clock is the latest we'll do them, and typically not early in the week, only because we're waiting for vaccine to come in. However, I just want to make sure with the health department, and we can even work on not scheduling them for those days if that's what we need to do. But I would say that's completely up to you at this point. Personally, I would still recommend mask wearing. We'll put up the shields if you guys want to if you want to come in, we can still spread people out appropriately. And then as we were kind of before we went to full Zoom, it'd be up to you whether or not you want to have public in the meeting or not. It would still be, we would still make all the arrangements to be able to broadcast it.
So, Mr. President, is that something we could put on the agenda to vote on, or how do you feel about it?
That would be, I think, something we would just decide. Maybe the council, our meeting is April 5th. If the council wants to think about it, I know and other members of council have been vaccinated or in the process of being vaccinated. So, I would be comfortable doing that with our shields and our face mask and so forth. But if other members of council haven't been vaccinated and they are still hesitant, I want to respect their concerns also. So I don't think it's something we will vote on, Ms. Haynes. I think it's just something we'll decide as a group. Mr. Franklin, we won't be in any violation if we decide something like that on through our email chains and so forth.
Specifically, what decision do you want to make?
To come back to meeting in person.
No, I think that is an appropriate matter to be discussed electronically.
Yeah, I think so. So if any, because I would hate to have somebody vote no, or however we would decide, majority, whatever. So why don't we have that discussion, Ms. Haynes? Anybody on council who wants to share their opinions? Stacy, would you put out an email tomorrow asking people their opinions? And like I said, no pressure. If you still feel comfortable because you haven't been vaccinated or vaccinated, that's fine. But it would, like Mr. Timoneer said, we have shields, we have face masks, we have social distancing. And I don't think at this time we would have the public come in. But there again, that could all be part of the discussion. Anybody want to comment on that? I mean, or you want to do that on the email? That's fine.
I'm fine with the email. It's a question I get asked a lot. Schools are back. Why aren't you back?
Yeah.
But I'm certainly respectful of people's fears. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you. That's a good discussion to have, and it's probably the time we start. We, should be having that. So,
and I would only weigh into the whole school conversation. Number one, there's plenty of science that shows kids are not as affected by this as adults are. Secondly, if you go into these schools, the face shields, the masks, the shields around the desks, the inability to walk close to each other. I mean, they are really I think they're doing a tremendous job. And thankfully the kids know what's at stake, especially when it comes to sports and everything else. And they're going along with things and doing their part as well. They just want to have some normalcy too. So, however, when there is an issue, you get a lot of people that then go to quarantine. So that would be my only comments when it comes to that.
Okay. Anything else for the manager? Mr. Solicitor, do you have anything for us this evening?
No, I won't have anything this evening.
Okay, thank you. But we have your work on the lakefront property. So, Miss Welch, do you have anything this evening?
Yes, I'm just going to communicate the extended hours we're going to have for income tax.
Okay. Are the income tax due April 15th?
Yes.
We didn't change it this year?
No.
No? Okay.
So far, no.
All right. Now, I don't know. Last year it was changed, right?
Because the government
Yeah, because of the
told us to change it.
code. Yeah. So, okay. So you're going to have extended hours. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Very good. Miss Sensky, does the clerk of council have anything?
I was just going to ask council if they had a chance to view any of the demo videos for the Muni Code agenda platform.
I
Stacey, I watched a little bit of one. Like, I mean, I'm all about trying to go to something paperless. It'll be daunting at first to learn it, but I think what we would have to do would be relatively, hopefully simple. I mean, I'm willing to try for whatever it's worth.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. President, Ms. Sensky, I haven't gotten to it, but I promise you I will this week.
I'm going to try to watch that. Is that on Netflix or is that?
Yeah.
Hulu.
Hulu? We'll binge
You
watch.
can binge watch all three of those.
We'll binge watch it. Yeah. No, I will try to watch that. So.
And then also, if you have any questions, I'm happy to take those back to the representatives of Muni Code. They've been really good about answering all my questions.
Okay.
So.
All right, very good. While we have a few minutes, Ms. Sensky had a couple items on the agenda. Maybe we could talk about them now. One is trying to keep up with our appointments to the various boards and committees that we have. And I believe we're behind on some of them, or some need reappointment. So I know what usually happens is Ms. Sensky will send us a list of those and then we'll file them and we'll never get to them. So maybe council, I think need to come up with some kind of thoughts or ideas about how to do this. Some people's appointments are up. And then do we reappoint them if they want to be reappointed? I know, we had the park opening last fall, and that turned into a longer process than we thought, I think. So maybe council members, as we prepare for the next couple of meetings, especially if we do get back to meeting in person, it seems like we have more conversation then. Maybe we should decide or give some thought. If somebody wants to be reappointed to a committee, do we reappoint them? Do we term limit them? However you want to handle that, because I see we have some appointments that will be coming open. So any comments or questions on any of that?
Yeah, I have a comment.
Okay.
I think it's wonderful that people volunteer their time so generously to be on our boards and help out. But I would hate to have people in the community that would like to be involved, but they just can't break into the system. So I think when a position opens up, we should advertise it, and it should be maybe, it doesn't mean that experienced person couldn't get back in, but maybe it could give an opportunity for someone new.
Okay, so that's a good start to the discussion, and maybe that's something we need to keep thinking about. Stacy will can supply us with a list of appointments that'll be coming up this year, and maybe Ms. Sensky, you could add with that, their original start date and their appointment date, and then, like Ms. Haynes says, maybe we go to them. Or we go to the community and say, we have these openings, but then also we want to be sensitive to the people who have given us many years of service, and include them that we're thinking about changing the process or something. We don't want them to just say, well.
Yeah,
think it's a
when I was
touchy
looking,
thing, you know.
Mr. President,
Yes.
when I was looking at the codified ordinances, it just, for the particular commission that I was talking about that has several expired members, it says in that language that the chairperson of that committee is supposed to let me know when there's openings, and I don't know if they can just, you know, have those people send notification of interest to me, and I can put it out, you know, in the newspaper or whatever. Those notification of interest are online on our website every day, so anybody can print one out and send it in to me.
Yeah.
At any time.
Maybe it's just a matter of knowing, you know, hey, well, like in the fall when we announced the park committee, we got 3 responses or 4 responses, 3 or 4? 4 responses. So that was good. And so maybe if people are aware, then, you know, we'll hear more from more people. So, okay.
Can I add one more thing to that? I think with our social media presence, that's a great opportunity to get the word out there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. I think, Ms. Haynes, I think more people are watching council and viewing than in normal or in past. I think, from what I hear, you know. So that may you're correct there. Anything else? I believe we're going to start in a couple of minutes. Anything else anybody want to add for the pre-council meeting? I know there's an issue that we have at the end of the meeting that we've sort of with liquor transfer that we need to talk about, but we'll do that in public, and then we'll continue on. Okay. Anybody? All right, then we'll start in 3 minutes. I'm gonna go turn my light on. Sometimes on the boxes get moved around, you know.
Yeah.
Do you do two? Yours too?
Yeah.
Okay, you're all set.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Timonier. We're going to call the regular council meeting for Monday, March 15th, 2020. We will call this meeting to order. Ms. Foglio, will you lead us in our prayer, please?
Yes. Heavenly Father, we ask you to let your inspiration precede this council's actions and all present here today, and your assistance further us so that every word and work of ours may take its beginning from you, and so begun, may through you reach its completion. Amen.
Amen. Ms. Sensky, will you have the pledge for us?
Yeah. It's not letting me share my flag today.
Will you just like to lead us in the pledge then?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Sensky. Would you please call the roll?
Yes. Ms. Young?
Here.
Ms. Harris?
Here.
Ms. Haynes?
I'm here.
Mrs. Foglio?
Here.
Mr. Crawford?
Here.
Mr. Spielman?
Here.
Mr. Roskovics?
Here.
Mr. Timonier?
Here.
Mr. Franklin?
Here.
Ms. Welch?
Here.
Okay, we have our quorum established this evening. We have no members absent, and we are meeting the requirements of the Sunshine Law. We do have a request for an executive session at the conclusion of our public meeting tonight to discuss personnel items. No?
Purchase of property.
Oh, I'm sorry. Purchase of property. Okay. Can we have a motion for such?
So moved, Ward 1.
Second in Ward 2.
Motion by Ms. Foglo, a second by Mr. Crawford to have an executive session at the conclusion of our meeting to discuss purchase of property. Please call the roll.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Haynes?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Spielman?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovics?
Yes. And I believe all our city officials will join us at that meeting. Okay, thank you. Could we have a motion in a second to suspend council rules due to the current state of affairs regarding the COVID?
So moved, Ward 1.
Ward 3 seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Young. Ms. Foglio moves, Ms. Young seconds. Please call the roll.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Haynes?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Spielman?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovics?
Yes, so we will suspend the regular rules by a 7-0 vote. Ms. Sensky, are there minutes to dispose of this evening?
Yes, the March 1st, 2021 regular meeting of the Ashtabula City Council was called to order at 7 p.m. by the council president. The Ward 1 councilor offered the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance was recited. Members present were Mr. Crawford, Ms. Harris, Ms. Haynes, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Spielman, and Mr. Roskovics. Officers present were Mr. Timonier, Mr. Franklin, Ms. Welch, and Mrs. Sensky. Mrs. Foglio moved, Ms. Haynes seconded to excuse the Ward 3 councilor from this meeting. Motion carried.
I'll move on the minutes.
Second by Ward 1.
Second by Ms. Foglio. Please call the roll.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Haynes?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Spielman?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovics?
Yes, so those minutes will be approved by a 7-0 vote. Mr. Manager, do you have a report for us this evening?
I do. Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would like an ordinance to approve the rezoning of 5 parcels of land on Laird Drive between West 8th Street and West 9th Street from R4 residential to C1 commercial.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move on the manager's recommendation. This is Ward 1.
Ward 5 seconds.
Ms. Foglio moves, Ms. Haynes second. Is there any discussion? 5 parcels of land on Laird and 9th, and these are in the historical district. So
That's correct.
Any development will also go to that board. Any other questions? Please call the roll.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Haynes,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Spielman,
Yes.
Mr. Roskovics.
Yes, we'll add that by a 7-0 vote.
Next, I would like an ordinance to enter into an agreement with ODOT for the purpose of participating in the 2021-2022 rolled salt bid.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move on the manager's recommendation. This is Ward 1.
Ward 4 seconds.
Thank you. Ms. Foglio moves, Ms. Harris seconds. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Haynes,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Spielman,
Yes.
and Mr. Roskovics.
Yes, we will add that item by a 7-0 vote.
Next, I would like an ordinance to enter into an agreement with Grease Audio Visual of Erie, Pennsylvania, as the most responsible bid for the Police Department Operations Command Room system upgrades in the amount not to exceed $35,666.77. The funding for this expense will be taken from the Law Enforcement Trust Fund 217.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move on the manager's recommendation. This is Ward 1.
Ward 5 seconds.
Ms. Foglio moves, Ms. Haynes second. Okay. Any
Ms.
discussion?
Young? Nope.
Oh, okay. Please call the roll.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Haynes,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Spielman,
Yes.
and Mr. Roskovics.
Yes. So we will add that item by a 7-0 vote.
And lastly, I'd like an ordinance to enter into an agreement with GPD Group of Akron, Ohio, for the purpose of providing design and construction administration, as well as bid documentation for the wastewater treatment plant bar rake project in the amount not to exceed $37,500. Funding for this expense will be taken from the Water Pollution Control Capital Fund.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Ward 1 moves on the manager's recommendation.
Ms. Foglio moves.
Ward 2 will second.
Mr. Crawford will second. Thank you. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Haynes,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Spielman,
Yes.
and Mr. Roskovics.
Yes. So we will add that item by a 7-0 vote.
And that's all I have for my report tonight, Mr. President.
Okay. Are there any questions for the manager that were not previously asked? No? Okay. You know, I see we're doing an audio visual. I was in the audio visual club in high school. Do they still have that? I think it's a little bit different now, though, probably. Huh? I just heard those two. I haven't heard those words in a long, audio visual. Okay, sorry about that. Mr. Franklin, anything for the council this evening?
No, I have no report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Ms. Welch?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, the finance office will be extending their hours to accommodate those who need to file their income tax. We will be open starting April 5th, which is a Monday, through the 15th. During business hours, we're extending them till 6 p.m.
Okay, April 5th through the 15th. And you're there at 8:30 or 9?
8:30 to 6, that's what the hours will be, Monday through Friday.
8:30 to 6. file your income tax. And the deadline this year is April 15th.
Correct.
As in the past.
Correct. And that's
Anything else, Ms. Welch?
That's it.
Mr. President, Mr. President, Ms. Welch, you will put that on the city's website, correct? So that the people will know?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Actually put it on for me.
Good.
Ms. Sensky, do you have anything for us this evening?
No, I don't.
No? Okay, thank you, Ms. Sensky. All right, we do have some committee reports. There was a community development and economic development meeting last week. And as Ms. Haynes does, she plans a good meeting and I had a nice guest for us. So you have a report on that meeting, Ms. Haynes?
I do. First off, I felt so energized by having Dr. Ned Hill from Ohio University. He talked about economic development. I've been watching and rewatching it's on Facebook. It's probably on our website too. I would encourage anyone to please watch it. I'm going to hit the high notes, but it's just like when you learn something really exciting and you try and transcribe or translate that, and it just kind of loses a little bit of its punch. But as he said, there's no silver bullet. There's no free lunch. This is a 10 to 20 year process. And you have to have, along the way, you have to have little victories. And economic development, I mean, every city wants economic development. So what does that mean? I've got to cheat and look at my notes. There are the 4 P's that create value: people, products, productivity, and placemaking. And the ingredients of a competitive community are economic purpose, delivering the basics well. That would be keeping our roads up, keeping our sidewalks up, picking up trash, etc. Cleaning the roads of, keeping them clear of snow, fixing the potholes. Being connected to the region, our education systems here, leadership, vibrancy, diversity, sense of place. And what is needed in a community, it's not so much outside investment, it's inside investment. If the local people aren't willing to invest in our community, why are outside people? He really stressed the importance. We have to watch what we say and how we say it. Verbiage is important. We have to be delivering a positive product, and we have to lift each other up in that regard. All economic development is selling of products. So we have to look at businesses. What businesses do we have? What products are they selling? Can we develop our current businesses? How do we attract new businesses? So I would encourage everyone to go and watch this on Facebook. It's a little over an hour, but the meat of it is in the first hour. I loved it. I loved it, and I appreciated him coming.
Thank you, Ms. Haynes. Thank you for organizing that for us. You always, like I said, have an interesting meeting. If I could just say it, I heard a lot. It was interesting, but I got the thing that stuck with me. Dr. Hill did the thing that stuck with me came from Mr. Timoneer, and Mr. Timoneer said everybody in Ashtabula can get involved in economic development by cutting your grass, keeping your yard nice, keeping your house in good shape, keeping your property looking good. And that's going to start and stimulate economic development too. So I just want to give kudos to Mr. Timoneer also for that. Like I said, that stuck with me. But Dr. Hill things also. So, anybody else?
I would just like to give kudos to Jane too for finding him. Obviously we go to a lot of these seminars. Both Mrs. Church, as you know, Mrs. Church also sat in on that meeting from our Planning Community Development Department. That was one of the better, if not one of the best economic development presentations we have sat through. We've heard a lot of that stuff before, but it was never put together as nicely as what he did. And we've already come up with some things to reach back out to him and see if he'll give us some other advice on some things. So it was a good thing. And, as we talk about the whole 10-year process and things like that, I think we like to do that here, as kind of motivators for us, as well as kind of look at, where we are and where we've come from. So we do all this talking about economic development, what's happening. Remember that we convinced some people to come to town, even though it hasn't started yet. We're still waiting on it, but we've convinced some people to come to town and build the first hotel that we've had here in 100 years. We've, for 10 to 12 years, been doing all the planning, behind the scenes work, everything needed, so that when Petman came back around, we were able to offer them something. You have the townhouses that were built on Bridge Street. Jane, I've been able to go out to some developers and sell some buildings that people have never even thought of on Main Avenue. We have the Carlisles being resurrected. So although we kind of look around and we don't see a lot happening, there is a lot happening, but we're at that 3 to 5 year mark right now, where now the 5 to 10 year period is where you're going to have all this construction, where you're going to have all these things come to light. So, I don't want everybody to think that we're starting over. This is things that we've been doing. But that 10 year mark is so important, because even if you look at what has happened in the harbor, 10 years ago, we started with the plan to get the grants, and they did all the planning to do the big master plan on Bridge Street and all that stuff. And it took literally 10 years to get where we are. So that's not just a number of people throw out there. There's a lot of reality to that number. And I think we're doing a good job, moving in those directions. So.
Anything else? Ms. Fogel?
President.
I'm sorry. Ms. Harris, I'm sorry.
I have to speak louder. Nobody ever hears me.
I didn't hear you. I apologize.
I thought it was an awesome presentation as well. And I just wanted to say, I'm really glad that I got to hear a lot of what he said. There were 6 questions that he brought up that he encouraged communities and cities to ask themselves. And so I would say, if you do watch the video, to really pay attention to those 6 questions, and that focused on being distinctive and welcoming newcomers and investing in who we are and things like that. I would say that I would encourage everyone, and I hope that we continue to have the discussion on the council, that we are, when we welcome newcomers, sometimes newcomers can be within our own community. It could be people that we're not used to seeing. It could be people we're not familiar with. So he said that, community development isn't enough for economic development, but it is a huge part of it. And so we have to make sure we're paying attention to who's here already. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Harris. Good point. Anything else? Ms. Did I miss somebody? Okay. Ms. Foglio, Finance and Personnel.
Yes, we are planning on meeting Friday at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom.
Okay, Friday the night. Okay, good. Mr. Crawford.
The Public Works meeting is scheduled for next Monday at 5 o'clock, and that will be a Zoom meeting.
Okay. And then Mr. Spielman.
Yeah, we are going to meet Monday at 8:30 on Zoom.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you, Mr. Spielman.
You're welcome.
Okay, let me see if I could turn my page. I can. All right. Ms. Sensky, did we have any public communication regarding any of our legislation for this evening?
We did not.
Okay. And so, Ms. Sensky, correct me, the legislation is to dispose of obsolete equipment into the zoning change on Laird Avenue?
Right.
Okay. Any discussion on that? On those 2 items we've had? Is it council's idea to handle those in consent agenda format?
Yes, I will make that motion, Ward 1.
Thank you, Ms. Foglio.
Word for a second.
Ms. Harris will second. Can you please call the roll?
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Haynes,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Spielman,
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich.
Yes. So we will handle these two items in consent agenda format. Ms. Sensky, would you read those to us, please?
Yes, ordinance number 2021-27, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to dispose of obsolete and unneeded equipment. Ordinance number 2021-28, an ordinance approving a zoning change of 5 parcels of land on Layered Drive between West 8th Street and West 9th Street from R4 residential to C1 commercial.
Thank you, Ms. Sensky. Can I have a motion to waive the reading of the entire legislations?
So moved, Ward 1.
Thank you, Ms. Foglio.
Second, Ward 5.
Ms. Haynes seconds that. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Haynes,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Spielman,
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich.
Yes. So we have waived the legislation by a 7-0 vote. Could I have a motion to waive the charter requirements of 2 readings?
So moved, Ward 1.
Ms. Foglio moves.
Ward
Mr.
3
Roskovich-
second.
I'm sorry, Ms. Young will second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Haynes,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Spielman,
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich.
Yes. And now on the passage.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Haynes,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Spielman,
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich.
Yes. So those items have passed this evening by a 7-0 vote. Is there anything else, Ms. Sensky?
No, that's it for legislation.
No other legislation. We came to new business part of our meeting this evening. We have 2 items. One is well, they're both liquor transfers. One is from Big Daddy's Pools and Spas. That's a new permit. So let's handle that one at this time. That's in Ward 2. Are there objections or concerns about this permit?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Crawford.
this is Ward 2, Crawford. I do have some concerns about that one. I've voiced that out to everybody, so hopefully they saw that. From the background of it, my concerns is with the owners were there, how would we put this? Where they should have had in this of their business, they should have had a new business application, and then they should have had the permit for their current business. On this one here, we don't know the intentions of what they're going to do. They've never applied so that the city knows and has any indication of where it's going. We would all hope, and my thought it was that it's probably for them to be able to capitalize off of the Petman process, but there is no background for the information for the city to know that.
Okay.
So I wish there was some more background where they could actually present that or give us more information on that.
Mr. President,
Yes.
the Assistant Director of Planning and Community Development did reach out to the owner late this afternoon. He called back and also emailed. He's traveling, he said, and so it was hard for him to email, but he intends to be back in town by the end of the week and fill out the necessary paperwork. And he did send an email saying he's applying for the beer and wine carryout. And he has the pool and spa supplies business. So he also wants to have a food trailer on site and in the future apply for the licenses through the state. He said he didn't understand what all the hoops he needed to go through. So any help would be appreciated. And I'm not sure, and it was an email that I had sent out on the process because I've never gone through it, other than what I've shared with you already by email too, of objecting the license and then collecting the information. And I would ask Mr. Solicitor Franklin to be able to help us with that.
Yeah, Mr. Franklin, can you give us some guidance? Because I sort of echoing Mr. Crawford's concern. If there's not a plan and we're not quite sure what's going on here, what is our route?
Well, you notify the, I'm trying to think which arm of the Department of Liquor Control you notify, but you notify, it's spelled out in the notice to us.
Yeah, I just mark a box that we request a hearing either in Jefferson or in Columbus.
Okay.
And we would request it in Jefferson. That's not to say they will do so.
Right.
And at the hearing, the burden is on us to present any reasons why we believe the transfer should not be allowed. It's not on the other party to show that they should be allowed to transfer it. We're the objecting party. We have to carry the burden.
This says a new permit. Does that change anything, Mr. Franklin? This says a new permit.
It opens up additional grounds for you to object, either based upon location, based upon past experience with this particular business person or business company. The one time that the city, in the time that I've been here, the one time that the city did object to a renewal was because of frequent police calls to a particular liquor establishment due to fights and injuries and so on.
Okay.
We ended up working out an arrangement with the bar owner, and the Department of Liquor Control does go along with negotiated agreements along these lines.
Mr. President, Ms. Sensky, do we know what date this has to be? We have till to object or anything?
There's 30 days.
Okay, so because we've finally had some response back from the owner, maybe we can revisit this at our April 5th meeting.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we can bring some more information back to you at that time. I kind of look at this liquor license again as kind of what I explained for the rezoning. Do you think having a liquor establishment in this particular area is harmonious to the area? My guess in some of the conversations we've had about this, and again, it's been kind of sketchy. We don't know if he's just doing some type of carry out food or on-premise type food, or if it's going to be more of like a convenient type store. So those are some of the questions that we want to get answered. As far as knowing what this process is, we started requesting this information and giving him guidance from what I recall last June. So I'm not going to say that's an excuse of why it hasn't been done. We're, as I told you guys and everybody else, it's simply, actually all these permits are even on our website. It's a simple call to us and we will handhold people right through the process.
So I think that certainly is a good path to take. Maybe we could visit this at our April 5th meeting. Is anyone on council okay with that, Kevin? And then maybe at that time, if we don't have any more information or guidance, then we, would have to do that.
I'm good with that.
Ms. Dunsky, what's the date of the notice?
The date of the notice, okay, so it was mailed March 4th, so responses must be postmarked no later than April 5th, but I can also fax it to them or email it to them.
I don't recommend running that close to the deadline. If you think there's a likelihood that we will be requesting a hearing, we can request the hearing and then withdraw the request.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so why don't I keep you guys informed as we find out more information. And if you want a hearing at that time, we can always send it off.
We don't have to be in a public meeting to request a hearing.
Yes,
We have to be?
yes.
Okay, so.
That's why I'm suggesting you go ahead and request the hearing because you have concerns. And if those concerns are satisfied, we can simply write a letter withdrawing the request for a hearing.
Okay. Mr. Crawford, is that?
Yes, so who would you want to actually make that motion for?
You want to request?
I'll make that motion.
All right,
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Crawford moves and Ms. Foglio seconds to request a hearing. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Young,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Haynes,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Spielman,
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich.
Yes. So we will request a hearing, mostly because we want some information, and then if we need to, we will drop that. And then also we have a liquor permit. This is a transfer from Rockin' Johnny's on Bridge Street and transferring it to the Trophy Social Club doing business as nights and weekends at 1035 Bridge Street, which is the old Parola Brothers. This is for beer on premises, wine and certain pre-packaged drinks and on consumption on premises. Okay. Any concerns or about this? Mr. Crawford, this is your ward also.
No, I have no issues with this one. This is going from Fire Chicken transferring to the new business that's going to be opening there at the corner. So I have no objections to that. It's just a transfer, same street and everything.
Anybody else? All right, then we will have no objections to this. Okay. All right, on our agenda, before we, tell us something, we're going to get to the tell us something we don't know. I do have, I tell you what, I've been hearing, and I'm so happy, I've been hearing from so many people regarding the Amtrak who want to get involved in helping with the Amtrak. I had a couple requests that people are looking for the addresses on the city website. We were going to put them on there, who they should contact. And a couple people said they haven't been able to find those yet. So maybe if that's something, we can get those addresses of who they could write to or who they could call to show support for Amtrak. I'd like to ask maybe Ms. Sensky if she could send along those addresses to the paper too, because I had a citizen who works with the elderly and the senior citizens and some people who may not be as computer involved as, you know, some of us. And she was wondering if we can get those addresses somehow in the paper so that those people could look there, or if they could maybe call the city, we can give them the address information.
The Star Beacon, Mr. President, the Star Beacon had the list of our legislators in either Saturdays or it might have been today's newspaper.
Right. I think here in Saturdays.
Huh?
Mr. President, can I jump in real quick? So as we kind of discussed, I can't remember if it was at a meeting or offline, but as we've heard from our elected officials on the state and federal level, this language has not even hit committee yet or been coming up for a vote. So they had asked that we wait till the language is actually there so we can see it. And then at that time is when the important time to rally everybody to get all the messages down to both Columbus and to our state reps, or I'm sorry, and to our congressional and Senate representatives at that time. But right now, our congressmen and senators don't even have what this legislation is going to be in front of them. So we're staying in touch with them on the back end to know when that hits. And then once that happens, then we start the grassroots effort to do that. That is why I have delayed on putting those addresses on the website because unfortunately their aides don't have any information on it. nor do they at this time. But it will become important when the legislation comes out and when it comes up for passage, that we contact them at that time.
Okay.
So we do appreciate everybody's enthusiasm, and please stay enthused about it and prepare the letters and ready to go. So as soon as we say yes, we can get those sent off.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's what we'll make known, because like I said, I'm so encouraged that so many people are interested in this. It certainly is one of the most responded to items that I've seen. So I'm glad to see that. So we will keep everybody involved and informed. But yeah, maybe write your letters now and then they'll be all set to go and such. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Timonier and Ms. Sensky. Does anybody else have anything for tell us something we don't know?
Mr. President?
Yes.
Just one more plug. I did it at the last meeting, but just want to remind all the residents that Ashtabula Little League signups are going on now. That goes until Friday, March 26th without paying an additional fee. You could go to Ashtabula Little League's Facebook page or ashtabulalittleLeague.com, and there's a link there. They're doing tryouts on Saturday, March 27th. So want to be able to get the kids out there and let them have fun for the summer. So just a plug to get kids out there and get them active. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Anybody else?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes.
This is Ladine Young in Ward 3. I'd just like to thank Christine Hill, Peggy Ducrow, and Christy Cunningham of the City Health Department. They were out at People's Missionary Baptist Church on last Friday, and they did an amazing job with the vaccines. We did about 40, and just the love and the care and the concern that they had for each resident. It was amazing, and I really thank them for that.
Thank you, Ms. Young. And we missed you last, but we didn't have time to congratulate you on your successful food drive. What a wonderful thing.
It went really well. It went really well. And thanks to you all for supporting it.
Oh,
I thank you.
And then now the shot. So that's good active participation down there. And so anybody else? I just echo what Mr. Spillman said earlier in the meeting. We have some people, even though we've been COVID year, we have some people starting new businesses and going to be opening up pretty soon. So I know down Bridge Street and some other places. So let's make sure we're out there supporting them. Okay. Anything else this evening? Ms. Sensky, I think we have a communication.
Yes. I have two actually. One is from the Park Levy Committee. They wanted to make sure that people are aware that donations can be sent to Mr. Tucker's home address, which is 1317 Walnut Boulevard, Ashtabula, Ohio, 44004. The checks should be made payable to renew the park levy. And it is a park renewal levy and not an additional levy. So it's what the city residents have already been paying for the past 5 years. And if anybody needs that address repeated, they're welcome to give me a call or send me an email. Also, I've got an email this evening from Ms. Relicia Holman. This email is submitted as a congratulatory statement and a question for the council. On January 19th, most members of council signed resolution number 2021-11, a resolution declaring racism a public health crisis. Thank you to members who acknowledge this crisis. My question is, now that council has signed the document, what will be the next steps? What will Ashtabula City do to address racism and act in ways that create more equitable policies and opportunities for residents most impacted by racism?
Thank you, Ms. Sensky. And that could be something that we'll need to talk about. I think passing the resolution was probably a good first step, and maybe what Ms. Holman's ideas is that we go on with it, continue on with it. That's certainly a good idea. So we'll thank Ms. Holman for that, and we'll let her know that we're going to do something then. That's a good idea. So anybody else? We will work with that.
Mr. President, I would say we've we've already been doing some of the things. First off was where the police department reached out and with Reverend Salters to start the scholarship for minorities to become police officers. We did get some applicants that hopefully if they make it through the civil service exam process, they'll be eligible for those scholarships to do there. At least in my tenure here, we've diversified the staff here at the city. We've worked with Miss Young and People's Baptist Church on a lot of different issues, going there and doing seminars on different things, and of course with the hosting the clinic that we had over there as well. Done cleanups in various areas. So there's been things ongoing, and again, it kind of goes back to that economic development conversation where we also need the community to step up, and those people saying, "What are you doing?" Well, what are you doing? So let's do it all together. There's definitely some things I can point people in the right direction of to help out, not only with race issues, but a lot of issues here in the city.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Timonier. Good, very good.
President?
Yes.
I wanted to just add a correction. I believe that's our Pastor Emery Moore, not Reverend Salters.
You are right. My apologies. It is Mr. Moore. Yes, thank you.
Which I think is super awesome. And I do think the city has definitely made some strides in doing more. I still appreciate Relicia's question. She's the new business owner that took over Beulah Beauty on Main Avenue with her partner. And I had the privilege of getting to know her this past year. I know she's been active with the NAACP, with voter registration, especially in the people of color community. And I think that sometimes, I agree with you, City Manager, but I think too, it definitely should still continue to be an ongoing conversation, because there are people that have these questions that bring it to the leaders, that they don't know what they should be doing or what the next step should be. And they may be looking to us to get some of that direction. But I think that this ongoing conversation will be good, and some action steps would be great. A lot of people don't go to churches, so having some conversation around community centers and the city and stuff like that might be a good idea as well. So I agree with everything you said, City Manager, and also agree with what Relicia is asking about what we're going to be doing. So I agree with you as well, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Higgins.
John, can I mention one more thing on that regard? The Sheriff's Department, I know it's not the city, but the Sheriff's Department, their drug task force, a gentleman was talking to the leadership kids this past week. He said they take Steve Sargent with them on a lot of their arrests or serving warrants and stuff, just like as a set of disinterested eyes, just kind of seeing what's going on to keep everybody honest and report back to folks that might have some concerns. So, Steve is a pillar of this community. He's been invited to help the Sheriff's Department kind of keep it, not, he's just there to watch. So that's another thing that's going on to kind of pull back the veil on anything, so there's nothing done in secret anymore. So that might soothe people's mind to know that he's involved too.
And Mr. President, Mr. Moore is also part of our police department as a liaison between the community and the police department, and he'll also be sitting in when we finally do get a chance to hire people. We've asked him to sit in on that interview process as well.
Good.
I didn't want to interrupt, but also wasn't there something going on with the schools that council was in support of?
Yeah. Actually, it was a letter that came from my office, and I did have John's blessing on it. I'm sorry, Mr. Roskovich's blessing on it as well. They had reached out to me due to this ordinance due to this resolution that you passed regarding racism, and they're working towards a grant. I believe they want to hire a diversity coordinator that also does recruitment for staff members and things like that within the city schools. So I've agreed that any part that we can play in that process, we would gladly assist where we're able to with the school district. That was where the Ashtabula Area City School District.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Is there anything else for tell us something we don't know? We heard from the community. Okay, at this time, our next meeting will be April 5th. That's a Monday. And so until then, please remember, wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask. We're still doing all this, so let's keep at that. We're doing good. We're going in the right direction. So,
Mr. President, just a reminder of our executive session.
Oh my gosh, see? I'm getting there old. Okay, thank you. So at this time, council will go into executive session. We will exert, will you, Mr. Timoneer, whoever is the—
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll put a notice up on the screen that we're in executive session. I don't need anything coming back from it, but you'll have to come back and adjourn the meeting.
Okay, thank you. So you're going to take care of that.
Give me 1 second. Thank you.
Okay, we're back on the TV.
Okay, you're good.
Okay, good. So we completed our executive session. So everybody have a good week, and we will adjourn this evening. See everybody April 5th.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.